And now, welcome to the stage, our final panel of the day and our keynote speaker, Ciara, moderated by Jessica Krull, a discussion of what needs to change in the beauty industry to drive inclusion.
That's just how we roll. How we roll. You know what it is, what it is. That's just how we roll.
That was so great for me because I got to pretend that everyone was cheering for me. I was like, oh, they love me.
They do love you, darling. You are shining. You're radiating when you walk across that stage.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I'm Jessica Krull, as I said, editor-in-chief of Allure, and I'm with someone who needs no introduction. Ciara, how are you?
Amazing. I'm really happy to be here and to talk with you because we've had a cool moment together.
Yeah, you were on the cover of Allure when you first launched your brand, OM.
Yes.
And we also had a really great lunch here in LA where I got to listen to new music before it came out.
You got the exclusive experience.
And I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret. Ciara likes to listen to music in her car. And so she was like, I'm gonna let you listen to the new music. And I was like, okay. You know, I thought I was gonna have some headphones. You know, it's all top secret. She's like, get in the car.
Yes, that's the way. I think, you know, when you listen back to your music, what better way than in the car? Because oftentimes that's where we find ourselves listening to music. So, and I don't know, the speakers just bump better. I don't want to put on some little headphones. I gotta respect the music, you know?
Okay, but that's that Atlanta in you.
That's
the Atlanta in you.
We like it knocking, as we would say.
Okay, as someone also from Georgia, I know the vibes.
Yes.
So, obviously, we're here today to talk a little bit less about your music and a little bit more about the venture that you're on currently and have been on for the last 18 months with OM Skin. Yeah?
Yes, you can say OM, but it's technically OAM.
OAM,
yes,
okay.
OAM.
Okay, OAM then.
Yes.
So you launched OAM in September of 2022. Why did you feel like it was necessary for you to launch a brand?
Well, the skincare space was kind of the least paid attention space in my world. And my makeup artist, Yolanda Frederick Thompson, she's been in my career since I was 16 years old. And she always would say, first of all, she's like a box of wisdom. And she's almost double my age, but she looks like she's really close to where I am. And whenever she tells me something, I listen, but I would never listen in the skin space. And I would just be like, she'd say, use your eye cream. And I'd be like, okay. And then I'm looking at her and I'm like, I better start listening to her when she's telling me about this skin because she is the blueprint. And so I started to take this part of my world serious. I wanted to level up how I was loving on myself, and especially as related to my skin. And I think there's this prehab process in life that we all have. When you start taking care of yourself for the right time, you prepare yourself for the time ahead, and you also make the road easier. And so I committed I'm going to start listening, but loving on my skin. And so I committed to that. And I was a girl, like I think a lot of girls, which we learned in our research and data, where I was using body wash on my skin. I was using body lotion on my skin, like just real bad. And so I'm like, this is not right. Like for the long-term success of my skin, this is not right. So I wanted to create product for girls like me, where I think sometimes when you go into the skincare sections, you don't know where to start and where to stop with your regimen. And so I said, let me make this simple. So with OAM, I wanted to have clinical skincare simple for all, right? And when I say simple, I'm giving you the one, two-step process on how to level up your skin, okay? Pun intended. So, you know, and I know we'll talk, more about it, but what I did was I created a system to whereas when you get the kit or when you get your collection, I numbered it so you know exactly where to start and where to stop. And so when I talk about making clinical skincare simple for all, those details matter to me because I needed some guidance and I was ready to learn and also give the girls guidance as well when it came to loving on their skin.
So you say for all, right? And I think that's a really important part of the brand and the brand ethos. And you talked about data. Tell me a little bit about the people who are gravitating towards your brand.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we do have a wide mix in our audience. And I'll speak to you when I talk about the wide mix and what we did in our formulations is we tested on the Fitzpatrick scale. So the Fitzpatrick scale, which I know a lot of you in this room know about, is really important because you test on all skin tones. So 96 people did this test with us. And that was important because we wanted to see that it performed on all skin types. And then what's been really interesting is that we do have, you know, when you start these businesses, you have this vision, and then what happens is you give it to the world, and the world talks back to you, and they say, okay, this is what's really going on. So we do have, which is really cool to me, is there's a 72% of the Black audience that has been supporting the brand. And so that's been really, really cool. And what you also, I learned is that over 500% of hyperpigmentation happens for us, women of color, that have the darker, you know, tone of skin. So what's really amazing is we have the vitamin C formulation to all of our products, and that focuses on that skin, which is really cool. And so it's amazing to get that feedback and to see that the girls are loving it. And that's been really amazing. Yeah.
I hear they even DM you directly.
Yes, they do. They want to know.
What's your favorite DM?
Everyone's saying, when are we going to be in retail?
Oh, that's the one? Okay.
Now, let me tell you why that's a favorite one to me. Because when you are building a business, DTC is really awesome. But having that footprint on ground is just as important. So being a small company, like I know my platform is huge, but I am still a small little company, just like a lot of other small ones. You know how important that space is and that opportunity is. So I'm here to say that we are working on that, and there is already one spot in the mix and in place. So we are making some strides at OAM right now.
Okay, that's the exclusive, because
Yes.
now you don't have to DM Ciara anymore, okay? It's coming to retail soon.
It is. And I know we're in this lovely room of people in this space. So I'm saying we can always add some more buildings. I'm just saying.
Okay, beauty brand founder. She is working the room already. I love that. I love that. So another unique thing about OAM that, you know, being editor-in-chief of Allure, I see so much product come across my desk, but you all have had the same 5 SKUs for the first 18 months of business. And oftentimes I see brands are launching so quickly new products in order to stay on top of this virality race. Yes. But you all have not done that. And I'd like to hear more about the decision behind that. Was it intentional? What has it allowed you to do in the 18 months without launching something new every 2 weeks, every month kind of thing?
Yeah, I think identity is everything. You know, I've learned sometimes, like having a hot song, because I also now run my own label, Beauty Marks Entertainment. And, you know, I put out my first song of my independent release called Level Up. And that song is now 2 times platinum. Hey.
and I know the dance too.
Get it. Break it down one time. But what's really amazing, I say that because what you learn on that journey is sometimes when you're pushing something and the block starts to heat up, you don't want to cut your legs short. Right. So I learned that lesson, I think, especially in music. Like, let the music cook, let it simmer, let people get to come and smell it and taste it and feel it for as long as they can. And then you will know when it's time to move on, right? Or to elevate and to level up more. So that's kind of how I look at it with OAM. You know, it's really about establishing brand identity. And, you know, we are moving at this nice, steady pace. You know, they say the turtle wins the race. We are a little turtle right now. But I like where we are. I like the journey. I like the process. I want for people to take the time and get to know who we are as a brand. And we are working on some cool stuff, though. We are thinking ahead. We do want to be innovative, but I also don't want to rush the process. I think what's amazing is that we are getting that great data, right? We're getting to see the consistency in our return customer rate. Like we have some, I'm not the technical one to give you the numbers. My girl, Sarah Fotis, is in the building. She can give you that. But our average order value is amazing. You know, our return customer rate is amazing. Our subscriptions are continuing to increase by the week. So all these are a lot of positive indicators that we're doing something good. And I don't want to rush that process. And I love how our customer is consistent. So yes, new product is on the way, because they do ask me about other things too. They talk about sunscreen. And I think all of us that know about skin, which I think this is one of the least talked about spaces, is sun care for your skin. And it's one of the most important spaces for important products for the skin. And so I don't want to say too much, but just know I am listening, and I also know. And I think that's going to be a great addition to what we have already done so far. Yeah, I'm excited.
I mean,
that's a good DM. I'm just saying.
I was about to say, it's the journalist in me is really hard not to be like, okay, the headline is OAM, Ciara's launching sunscreen. You know, but
that sounds good.
But you know, a lot of people also don't know how long it takes to create a sunscreen, right? There's a lot of FDA approval that you have to go through, and it's a long process in itself.
It is.
And you being, you know, really clinically minded, I'm sure it's taking a lot of testing.
Yes.
When we talked about Fitzpatrick, you know, something that I think a lot of people don't realize is it's hard to find people to test with darker skin tones. Have you found that experience to be true?
You know, we were very fortunate that it wasn't so hard. And I got to thank the squad for that, because they really rallied it up and made it happen. So that was a blessing. And what I'll say about the process of formulations, something I think that's really important is that when we love on our skin, you should feel like you were like osmosisly, making up my own word, on the beach somewhere. Like, you should feel like the way this pours into my skin is just, ooh, the way the lotion just rubs up, the moisturizer goes to my skin, I can feel the moisturizer just happening so like crazy. So I say that because that was important to me when I went through making every product. Not only the performance value was important, but also, well, not only the formulation value, but the performance value was important for me. How does it feel when you rub on your skin? Does the moisturizer get thick? Do you feel kind of dirty after you walked around for a few hours in the city? Like, I mean, all those things that I've experienced, I thought about those things, and I wanted to make sure that the formulation was top tier, but also the experience and how it actually like performed on your skin matched it as well. So that takes time. I went through 32 prototypes from my serum. Yeah, so, you know, that's my vitamin C serum, which we have a unique dosage of the vitamin C formulation and our tri-C-propeptide complex. And to make sure that that stuff released right to the skin was so important. But how does it like pour in? Is it too thin or is it too thick? Like, I mean, every step and detail matter to me.
Well, that brings me to my next question, which, you know, there are a lot of celebrity beauty brands out there, right? And so to me, I've met a lot of celebrity brand founders, and there's different levels of involvement. But I can tell from what you're telling us that you're very involved.
Oh, yeah.
So what is your response to people who are like, oh, OAM is just another celebrity beauty brand?
Oh, we are definitely not just another celebrity beauty brand.
We're about to fight.
Well, you know, the thing is that what I learned is that I had no idea. When I was preparing for launch, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a long list of us in this space of skincare. Hi, I know that face. I was like, there's a long list of like people like myself in this space. But then when you start to look at the clinical skincare options or, you know, products, the list gets smaller, okay? And then when you get into the women of color, that list gets even smaller. So I'm excited to be one of the few in this space, you know, stepping out, sharing my vision through skincare, you know, with the world. It's been such a blessing, you know, so yeah. We really, from, again, performance, product, innovation, you know, again, I will also say, like, what you're getting is the real deal. You know, it's not just me saying, you know, use my name and put it on these products. No, every product detail was thought out, you know, and it really does compete with the best. I don't have to say any names, but I will tell you, when you try OAM, you will not go back. And I will just tell you also, too, I'm just saying, I use it every day. And I genuinely mean that. And I feel so proud to know that I created something that I can live by and swear by every day. Even down to our hydration cleanser foams in the hand, like the little details, it lasts long as well. So I will tell you that. It also lasts long. But no, I can just go on and hype myself up, but I'm just really, really, really proud of, you know, every detail about us is unique in our own way. And there's other great products too in the vitamin C space, but I will say this, now you're just making my brain work, is our vitamin C serum. I call it the liquid gold for the skin. We have a unique dosage of 20% of vitamin C. It is not common that you see mini serums or any vitamin C product with that dosage, the 20% dosage. So that is the very true and factual, unique separator.
Talking about how you use it every day. If you go to the OAM Skin Instagram account right now, I see your face on it. You know, you are out there doing the work of being a brand founder, right? And we talk a lot about at Allure how, you know, brand founders are a huge part of the brand. Their faces, you know, whether they have the following that you have or they're just a new brand founder who has a story to tell. How important do you think it is for you to show your face and show how you use the products as a part of OAM success?
Oh, it's huge because it's my baby, right? This is a big part of my pride and joy, and I think that people need to see how I use it. They need to get to feel my energy that pours throughout. So OAM stands for On a Mission. I say I'm a woman of ambition on a mission. And when I was a little girl, I say I'm a girl of ambition on a mission. So that's always kind of been my hook line in life. But I think it's important to share my journey through skincare with my fans, to share how fun it is. Sometimes I think us girls are overwhelmed with product. We're like, this is a lot, you know. But then when you start to realize you can have fun with it, and you also realize how quick you can have that radiance, because it's a radiance collection, you know, how quick you can get that radiance when you follow those steps. It's quick and easy. So I think it's just important for me to, you know, really show the color of the brand. And I'm definitely a big part of that. And I have fun. You know, I remember being 1 week away from delivery with my newest baby. She's 3 months now. Her name's Amora. And I remember actually being like 2 days out, and you see me on there jamming out to Rhythm Nation, and I'm boom, 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 swipe, swipe, hydration, swipe, swipe. You know, you see me doing all this fun stuff, but it's a fun time. And so I think it's important for people to see how, one, I care for my brand, but how I have fun with it. I think that's important.
You mentioned your new baby girl.
Yes.
And everyone knows that skin changes drastically during pregnancy, okay? So, well, maybe not everybody knows. I'm gonna tell you right now, skin changes drastically during pregnancy.
Stuff starts popping out. You're like, wait, what?
So tell me a little bit about, were there things that you experienced with your skin during this pregnancy? And also, did that give you any ideas for new products?
So, you know, a fun fact is that when I started OAM, it was in the thick of the pandemic. And I was pregnant then. So I had my son win, and I was having so much fun experimenting with my product, getting the textures right, testing out the formulations. And so I can say I was a perfect muse because your skin is very sensitive then. I experienced melasma in every pregnancy, hyperpigmentation in every pregnancy. So I was kind of the perfect muse to test out this product. And also I can say our vitamin C brightening pads were game changers. Game changers with the hyperpigmentation and that discoloration. Like, it's the weirdest thing because you look in the mirror, you're like, who am I? Like, this is not, who is this? But you also enjoy it too. You embrace it. I embrace the journey. But I can say, when I first started OAM, I had a bun in the oven then too. I was pregnant. And I'd say a great muse for that reason. Because, you know, again, you're in the most sensitive time in your skin. And it was really cool. So yeah, so it does work for ladies with the bumps. I'm just saying, okay? All ranges are covered.
And you use it beyond your face, I hear?
Yeah, so a little something, just a little, when you get the vitamin C brightening pads, if you want to try them, they're good for the bikini line. And I had a good friend tell me, she was raving, girl, I use them under my arms and it's so good, you know? So that's what you can experiment and try stuff. And the way the juice pours out of the vitamin C pads are pretty awesome. And we've sold out of those twice. So I know there's something to it. Yes.
That's awesome. You, as many founders are, you're hitting that time when you want to grow, I'm sure.
Yes.
And I hear that you are in the investment stage. Looking for investment and things like that. What has that been like for you? I mean, I know from talking to many founders in my role that it is so hard to be on those investment calls and have someone poke holes in the brand that you love and created. But also, it's especially hard for Black women to raise in the beauty space. So how has that been for you? And what are some challenges that you've come up against?
You know, what's amazing is I'm just really getting started with it. You know, I think I've had my first call already, and I go, ooh, okay, recap this call. And I was like, all right, so what did I miss? And then what should I have left out? And what should I, you know, you start asking all these questions. But what's really great about the meetings, I will say, is that, or you know, when you get this going, is that you try to take back as much information as possible so that it helps you to prepare for your next one. And, you know, I have no idea how this landscape is going to be fully, but I'm excited for it. And I do know, you know, there have been, you know, that in this space, it can be interesting for a woman like myself, or a woman of color. And I think that this is the opportunity to have more representation. There's also something to girl power within itself, us women lifting each other up. And while I know it hasn't been easy for us, I'm excited to hopefully make more progress, hopefully to bring some cool team members on the journey with me, to be on a mission with me, and hopefully pave the way and be a part of paving the way for girls like myself. Because you want to get to a point in life with anything in general where we don't talk about that. Right? When people see you, they just see an amazing woman walking through the door, not seeing someone by the color of their skin or anything else. That's my dream in every aspect of my life. And I know that I have a unique opportunity to use my platform and to represent my girls well, and hopefully be a part of paving that way to whereas years down the line, if my daughter wants to do this, she just walks through the door with confidence and she's not thinking one bit about what she looks like in the mirror. That's important to me. So yes, I know it hasn't been the easiest for us, but I'm excited. Everything I've done in my life that I've been on a mission for, that I've accomplished, I accomplished it because I believed, and it's just that simple. And I will tell you guys, as a woman, you don't really realize how much up the hill you're walking already. Okay, because I was very confident. I was like, I'm walking into these meetings with the big dogs, like I'm a big dog too. And I was a little dog, but I had big dog in it. I had the big dog spirit in me, you know, and that carried me so far. I've heard a lot of no's on the way in my journey, you know, more no's than yeses at time. And I go, you're going to wish you would have said yes. And I will tell you, a lot of people wish they said yes, you know, so that's been my, you know, that's my mentality, and I'm going to carry that with me through every door and every meeting that I make. And what I will tell you, I remember this conversation, you know, I don't want to quote it exactly, but I remember talking to Jeff Bezos, and he told me about the great story of how he built Amazon and how many meetings he had to take to just get 60 people. I think it was 60. I may be saying the number wrong. 50, something, forgive me. I don't want to start quoting wrong, but the investor group that invested, there's a lot of meetings he had to take to get there. And I thought, this is so inspiring, because even for him, that journey, right, was a journey. And look at Amazon now, right? So I think about those amazing stories that I hear, and I get so inspired. And again, I've been that girl. I've took a lot of meetings too. And then the right people will come on the journey with you. So I believe in that.
You mentioned how, you know, you've heard a lot of no's in your life, and obviously those no's led you to where you are today. So they impacted you in a good way somehow. How is being a brand founder similar or different from being an artist, from being a label owner?
It's a similar, there's parallels. I mean, because you're starting from the ground up, you're building something that you're proud of. Now you got to go and sell it to the world and hope the world likes it. And then you have to tell you why you should keep liking it. And then you're trying to think of ways to keep pushing, promoting it. And, you know, it's very similar. You know, so sometimes it looks really cute on the gram. I make sure I got it nice, but behind I'm back there, sweating. I'm like, I'm hustling, you know. I am hustling to make it happen. And there's parallels to that But gosh, how great it is when you grind it so hard, when you do it your way, when you believe in yourself. I always say all it takes is one person to believe, and that person is you. And the moment you start to believe is when opportunity starts. And I tell you this, and I use this, and I swear to you, for everything. And I know I use a level up experience, but that's one of the most defining moments, because I went from being in major systems for most of my career. And it was so vulnerable to say, I'm going to go do this on my own. And the moment I decided, I'm going to do this. Like, I want to run my label. Beauty marks also means that my inspiration was that all the scars you get from the obstacles you face in life are your beauty marks. So I was able to embrace my flaws. All the failures became valuable to me because I learned from them. I got wisdom from them. And, you know, I'll never look back. So I think that that mentality, you have to have that across the board when you go, you know, when you're going after, you know, what you believe in and you're starting from scratch. And like I said, I would never look back on the chapter of ownership in that moment. So yeah, the grind is really not, I don't care how many followers you may see, and the grind is still a grind. And especially now, this is my 20th year since my first album, Goodies. Yeah. Okay. And I'm still grinding away, you know. So, you know, you have to stay hungry. You have to, you know, stay hungry, be humble the whole journey. I think that's important. Humility is everything. Relationships are everything. For me, when I started my independent journey, it was such a blessing to know I could call whoever I wanted to call, because I built that. My labels, the old labels I was signed to, didn't build that. So I was proud that I poured into myself on the journey. So, you know, just the little things. There's a lot of similarities, though, that you have to grind out. You got to build quality product. People have to believe in how you believe in it. You got to go sell it, market it, everything.
I think that is such a great thing for the founders in the room to hear, because I think oftentimes it feels like, well, I don't have the followers or the funds, or, you know, and it feels like you're at a disadvantage. But every founder is hustling in their own way and has their own set of challenges that they have to overcome in order to make it, or in order to achieve the goal that they're after. Absolutely. Every great brand in this world started from ground zero, mostly, right? So, I mean, I think that's like a reality, right? We all start from somewhere. And how great it is to try to be a pioneer in the space. And, you know, like I say that a lot of people told me no along the way, and then they wish they said yes, and a lot of no's, and, you know, I turn them into yeses. Or that's what I'm proud of, you know, on my journey of when I have success. So I think we just have to remember that, right? Every brand starts somewhere, and the grind is going to be so worth it. You know, it's like you just have to remind yourself, keep grinding, keep believing, like, don't stop. Like, I talk to myself sometimes. I talk to myself too. Yes, we have good conversation. Oh, I'm trying to tell you. Listen, you know, I say you got to speak life, right? In the Bible, and I'm very spiritual, so, but the Bible says there's life and death in the tongue. And I always say that when you speak, you have a chance to tell your life story. So when you speak, say great things. Always. If you say negative things, you project negativity into your life. If you say positive things, you start to will yourself out of like the craziest situations because you're speaking life into yourself. So if I could, you know, encourage everyone in this room to do this, you know, I don't know where some of you are on your journey, but speak life. Keep believing, like just keep speaking it. Sometimes you got to psych yourself out too. You're like, yeah, we're going to do this. We got this. Ooh, Jesus, we got this. You know, it's a whole thing. Yes. But it works. Yes, it does work. Yes. And I like what you said about, you know, one thing that I love is I love for somebody to tell me no. It's my favorite thing. It's like fighting words. I know, I'm like, okay, no. Yeah. We'll see. You're going to see. We'll see. The beauty industry is still new to you compared to, you know, the music industry. Are there things that you see that you want to change? Well, yes, I think more representation in the space, being allowed to share the same shelves as others that don't look like me. I think that would be amazing. You know, let's open up, create some more space, you know, for girls like me. Yeah, I think that would be great. Yeah. You know, have you felt pigeonholed in any way, whether because you're a celebrity and that's coming from music that has a brand, or because your brand is representing or your primary customer is Black women?
I think that sometimes people look at you and they think, she just want to keep it cute, and just be about, self. But it's like, no, I got real product. Like, this product really works. Like, so people sometimes question, like, your authenticity or true connection, or like, I don't know if they necessarily question my passion, but, because I'm breaking my passion every time, but yeah, you have that,
People make assumptions.
Yeah,
There's
people
always
do make
a bias.
assumptions, and I think sometimes that's why I say you can see my platform and see I may have a lot of followers, but sometimes that's actually kind of interesting. Like, they kind of check you more. Like, they look under the hood a little, like, is she really about that life?
Well, I will say that's how I am. As an editor,
let me see.
I'd be like, oh, for real?
Yes.
Okay, what you launching?
But
Let me see.
Yes, but look, that's why listen, you are great at what you do. I will say that. And you do have to fact check. But they do send you, y'all do send us through,
Yeah, we do fact check, okay?
No. Yeah, I'm not mad at the fact checks. I welcome the fact checks all day. But it is a journey. I think people do have to see that you're really serious about your product and that your product is really serious and really good. And so I think there is a little bit of that. And then, in the celebrity business space in general, it's a very crowded space, just like ownership in general, not just in the skincare world. So if someone else did a brand and they didn't show up properly for the brand, now they done made a little funky patch for me walking through the door, because they think that you might do like that person, right? So there's these things that you do, face. And then I think sometimes maybe you don't realize in the moment the color of your skin could be a factor, but then sometimes you may realize it after, where you go like, no, wait a minute, that product went through the door? And I'm like, well, wait, huh? You do have those moments too, Yeah.
I think all the founders of color here can relate to that experience so hard. This, going into these meetings, and even me as, a Black editor-in-chief, going to these meetings and be like, wait a minute, it's because I'm Black, ain't it? But, I think, as you said, we are now in a position to be in those rooms, which means that we have the ear of people that sometimes we never got to have the ear of. So every one of us that steps into a room, whether we get a no, whether we get a yes, has the ability to change somebody's opinion and let people know the importance of what we do.
Yeah. You know what I like to do is I like to take the moment to say thank you to those, my peers, that don't look like me. And I like to say I take pride in having a diverse group of friends that I have in my life. And I like to say thank you to those because sometimes it takes a person to step out and they say, I'm going to lead, and I'm going to lead in opening up the door. And then when that one person steps out, their counterpart steps out with them. It's almost too like when us women talk about the support that we want to have as women. When men step up and speak out and use their platforms, sometimes things change. And it took us saying, hey, hello, see me. And then when they get the confidence to go, I'm not going to be like the rest of the dudes, I want to step up too, stuff starts to happen. So I think about that in everything. When change happens and when the norm is, is being changed, it's because I will say the support that I can personally say that I've been given from my friends of different races other than myself. And that feels so good because you feel like you're doing it together. We all need each other, like all of us. Like, this world is so crazy. It's like, I think the mom in me is just like, what is happening? But gosh, how great it is when we all come together. How great it is when you have the different flavors in the room and everybody puts their sauce in the pot together and something great happens. Like, I think that's beautiful. So, I just want to say that I think it's important, like for everyone here in this room, like how all of us coming together, is so powerful. And for those that may see, your friends maybe having a harder road to walk or to climb or mountain to climb, but they reach their hand out and say, we got this. We're going to do this together. That's beautiful.
Allyship is so important.
Yeah.
Do you have a mentor in the beauty space? Someone who you mentioned Jeff Bezos. Do you have someone in business, all your businesses, this isn't your only business, that you consider to be a mentor or someone who helps you?
Let me think about this here. A woman I can think of that's really been phenomenal. She's one of the best CEOs of all CEOs. Her name is Mindy Grossman. And, she's ran a couple of companies. You can look her up. But she's a mom, and she has an incredible story. And she always reaches out to me just to check on me. And I love that. And I'm not going to say beauty was so much of her, business, but I just admire who she is as a businesswoman and admire how she's led these massive mega companies and still is so, oftentimes you meet the CEO of companies and you go, that's why you're the CEO. You're like, because you're just a phenomenal person. Like you were supposed to be leading and running some things. And so I think of women like her that just inspire me and just give me good wisdom, or women like Christine Day. She actually helped my husband and I kick off our fashion house, the House of LR&C. And she's just a brilliant mind. You can also look her up too. I think about these women that reach back to me or that give me wisdom on the journey. That's really valuable. So, yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anybody. But yeah, those are two ladies that come to my mind as far as powerhouses, just in the world of, business in general.
So I'm going to wrap things up here. What does the future look like for OAM? You have been learning, you've been gathering. I know that there's going to be a sunscreen. I know there's going to be retail.
Don't be telling them my business.
Okay, well, you told me.
I know.
You know journalists can't hold water now.
I'm just playing. I know I did drop the beans, the good beans.
So what have you learned, and how are you taking that into the next thing for OAM?
Okay, what have I learned? I've learned that, when you are trying to tell a story through skincare, and, it's going to be a journey, but it is a fun one. That's been awesome. Like, that's what keeps me going and keeps me pushing. When you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. So I'm loving the journey of skincare right now. I'm loving the journey of, getting every consumer possible to come, or every fan of the brand to join us on this journey. So just really proud of that. And then, wait, what'd you ask me? You said,
what's next?
What's next? Okay, so what is next? Next is that I'm going to speak life. We're going to have a couple of really amazing investors come and join us on this journey.
Amen. Okay? Amen.
I'm speaking life into that. But yes, more product innovation. I have a really cool plan that we've been talking about to give our customers some really amazing stuff. And it's always about what the skin needs. Like, what does the skin need? How can we be innovative? We've got some really cool opportunities, even in the tech skincare space. So I don't want to say too much, but just know I am working very hard, very steadfastly on, really making sure OAM continues to stay on a mission to make clinical skincare simple for all. And yeah, it's exciting.
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for your wisdom. I think one note that I'm taking away from the conversation is this note to listen. And it's a note to listen to the person who purchases, right? Listening to your audience and planning ahead according to that, according to the feedback, according to the data. Listen. But I'm also hearing, listen to yourself when you speak positivity, right? Listen. We could all listen better.
Yeah, listen, and don't be discouraged. I think that's so important. Don't be discouraged. Remember, you're going to hear some no's along the way. Let those no's motivate you. And even when you're mad, I remember having a meeting, and I was, really wanting to work with this partner, and they basically told me no. And I mean, I was pouty face afterwards. Not on the call, but I was like, how she didn't understand, you know. I mean, it was a whole thing. I was like, she was mean, you know. I mean, a whole thing. But then I said, wait, but okay, let me get outside of myself. What did she tell me that actually gave me some value to it? I took those notes, and a lot of great things happened in my creative journey. So I said, you know what? That call was meant for me to get that. So we'll be all right. You know, it's okay. So yes, to your point, listen. And, you know, I think good leaders, you know when to lead, but you also know when to follow. And you got to know when to listen. So I agree with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was such a good time.